We'll call the Ascension Parish Council meeting of Thursday, January 10th, 2008 to order. Please stand as we have the invocation given by Mr. Randy Cluott, Councilman Randy Cluott, and followed by the pledge. Mr. Cluott.
Dear Lord, grant us the fortitude to seek out the wisdom and try to make the right decisions for Ascension Parish and all its residents, and grant us the strength to always bring it forward. Do not waver under any kind of circumstances. We ask that you pray for all the soldiers. We pray for the families, for it's the families where we come from. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll move to the roll call. All members are present. Mr. Zahn. Move to the chair's additions. We do have a couple of items that we need to pass on. First one we'll need to pass on tonight will be agenda item number 11. That has been resolved. Mr. Bourgeois has just alerted me to that, so we'll be passing on agenda item number 11. Agenda item number 14 will be passed on. There was an error with that being placed on the agenda. And also agenda item number 16. So that's 11, 14, and 16 we'll be passing on tonight. Okay, we'll move now to public comment period. Anyone wishing to speak on any agenda item, please check with Ms. Patterson, our secretary, and sign a public speaking card. And you'll have 3 minutes to speak on any agenda item tonight. Presentations, we have none. Agenda item number 6, the election of the council chairman and vice chairman. The chairman has opened now the nominations for council chairman.
I'll make a
Councilman Al Joseph.
I'll make a motion to nominate Pat Bell as chairman.
Pat Bell is the nomination. Any other nominations? Hearing no nominations, I would ask for a close of nominations with acclamation.
Motion to close, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to close by Mr. Dempsey Lambert with acclamation. Mr. Bell, you're now the council chairman. Sir, that rewards you the seat.
Thank you, fellow councilmen. I will do my best for y'all. We will stick together. We'll move our parish forward, get behind our president. We'll work together. Remember the key word, respect. I thank y'all very much. I'd like to also congratulate, Mr. Valentine. George, you did a terrific job, and you need to be commended for it. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda, number 7, is the parish president report.
You need the vice chairman.
Nomination.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'd like to open the floor for a nomination for vice chairman.
I nominate Randy Cluott.
Randy Cluott is the nomination. Any other nominations? It's closed. Acclamation, Randy Cluott, vice chairman. Number 7, Parish President Report. Mr. Martinez.
This is going to be the shortest parish president's report in the history of Ascension Parish. I'm putting together a report for the next meeting, which is next Thursday. I also want to congratulate Mr. Bell, Mr. Cluott, and Mr. Valentine for doing an excellent job during his tenure as chairman. So I will do that. I look forward to working with all 11 of you guys. We'll have a report ready for you next week. The door is always open. Come in, you have a problem, you need to discuss anything, feel free to contact me or any person in my administration. So thank y'all. Good luck. Short report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Next, number 8. I'd like to pass on this to next week, Suzanne, if you'd put it on next week. We don't have enough information right now to go forward. General business, number 9, Mr. George.
Good evening, Council. I noticed you didn't take a chance at pronouncing that last name. That's George Rodillier, Purchasing Manager. During 2 weeks in November and 1 week in December, the Purchasing Department advertised for bids on 3 items for a period of 3 weeks in both of the parish publications, the Weekly and the Chief. The first one, on December the 11th, the Purchasing Department received 1 bid for traffic control signs. The bids were received from Traffic Control Products Company. Only 1 bid.
Move to accept.
Second.
Rule to accept by Mr. Shakespeare, second by, who was second? By Todd Lambert. All in favor? Opposed? Any discussion? Motion passed.
On December 11th, sealed bids were accepted and read aloud for 30-pound riprap material. 1 bid was received from S.J. Belugurcio, the Third Contracting and Excavation Incorporated. Purchasing Department.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Thompson, second by Mr. Joseph. Any discussion? Opposition? Motion carries.
On December 11, 2007, the Purchase Department received 1 bid for oil and lubricant. The bid received from Marcella Distributors, Tebow Oil Company.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Thompson, second by Mr. Joseph. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, item 10, Mrs. Martha Collins, grants.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the council, President Martinez. I'm here tonight for a resolution in regard to the grants. We need to authorize President Martinez to sign in place of our...
So moved.
Second.
I don't need to read the resolution. Shall I do that while they're talking?
Yeah, please.
Thank you. Be it resolved that the Ascension Parish Council does hereby authorize Ascension Parish President Tommy Martinez to sign and execute all documents pertaining to any existing grant, application, contracts, including any signature documents authorized by Ascension Parish Council for the past President Ronnie Hughes to apply or implement.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Shakespeare, second by Mr. Cluard. Any discussion? Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Number 11, we'll pass on planning and zoning. Mr. Ziegler.
Good evening, Councilman. This first item is a conceptual plan of a planned unit development for Legacy Oaks, and it's to accept or deny. The Planning Commission, Zoning Commission recommended acceptance of this particular plan. It's located adjacent to the, it used to be part of the Country Club in Gonzales.
He's just one that's going to talk about this.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, we have five people, to speak on item number 12. First would be Mr. Ronald Daigle.
Good evening, gentlemen. I live directly across from Gonzales Country Club, what used to be the Gonzales Country Club, and what I always pick at people and tell them I lived on the poor side of this country club. I lived on the back side. All the big houses were built on the New River side. In development of this project, they call it a PUD, which is an urban development project. And I object to the lot sizes presented to me on my side of this project. The lot size on my side only 60 foot, where everybody else has larger lots. Given the economy and the way things are going in projects right now, I see that when this happens and what's going to go down is this is not going to become no longer a PUD, but it's going to be a HUD. That is my biggest objection. Further on down, there's other things that I'm concerned with. There's a water well right where I believe the road is going to be built. I'd like to see about getting this water well environmentally plugged so that my water well and my neighbor's water wells are not contaminated. Also, there's chemicals that were used on these greens for 40 plus years. I don't know if there's been a environmental study on this, but this was done before the EPA actually came into existence almost. They were in existence, but they weren't as particular as they were today. So I think we need to see about getting some environmental studies and see if there's any chemicals under these greens that would affect any dirt movement, anything like that. The other thing is reworking the highway, Cornerview. Cornerview is a very busy highway. It's a lot busier than Main Street. And the section that I live on is probably one of the better roads in the state, much less the parish. What we'd like to see is a turning lane. I don't know. I've heard some ifs and ands about it, and I'm not sure that there is a turning lane in the planning stages yet. I'd like to know whether that is done or not. And that's primarily what I have to say about it.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Next will be Mr. Quinmore.
I come here to bring a different concern to you. I don't have a problem with them subdividing this piece of property. It was RM, 3 lots per acre. That's 180 lots. That would have been. This would be 175. That doesn't bother me. What does bother me is the roads. You have 2 lanes to get road on the Cornerview and 1 lane onto West Main Street. Now, George is my representative, and I gave him the paperwork. West Main Street is a 35-foot right-of-way with 17-foot of asphalt. That's from your records. And George has that to substantiate that. What I suggest to you, you cannot get 175 families out on 2 lanes at 7 to 9 in the morning with school buses picking up children in there. You need another road out of that. And if you look at that plat, I assume it's in your packet. It's an easy thing to do. I'm not here to criticize my friend's plat, but it doesn't really depict an accurate picture of the adjoining property on the west side being your left side there. My suggestion is that you extend Green Oaks Lane to Cornerview. Now, I did talk to Dave about it, and there may be a problem with the highway putting a second entrance into Cornerview. But Cornerview is an 80-foot right-of-way. It's a major thoroughfare. It is one of our major street plans. West Main Street is a substandard road. I already pulled 1 drowned child out of New River on West Main Street, right in front of this subdivision. I don't want to pull out any more. When this is built, I want you to visualize this. 2 cars per family, 300 cars going to work in the morning. Do you really think they can get out? Look at that map. Do you really think they can get out of there with 2 roads? Now, if you look on Green Oaks, they have extended Oak Lane, which is parallel to Cornerview, in the Atwood's property. Atwood Smith owns that. Atwood Williams. Now, Atwood's property is not wide enough. They didn't depict that correctly. They don't show the lots on Cornerview, nor do they show the lots going up to the subdivision Greenside. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. I'm not here to criticize the plan. You could take that road, which will never be extended into Atwood because he'd have no land left. It's not wide enough to extend it into that. And extend it to Cornerview. Now, if the highway department will not let you enter with another one right now, I guarantee you they will when it becomes a traffic problem. I talk about this problem, and I brought this map to coffee. I would be remiss if I didn't bring it.
Mr. Quinmont, I'm going to have to stop you. Your 3 minutes are up.
All right, fine. I came to bring it to your attention. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Samuel Brown.
Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Samuel Brown, and I live in Bonne Terre Estate, an area just across New River from the area where these homes are to be built. I myself don't have a major problem with the construction of these homes now. Willard and I have talked about this at great length, and my main concern is a safety problem which will be created on West Main. And looking at the big picture, the long-range picture as to how the traffic will ultimately develop on Cornerview, we have the potential of having a traffic problem unless there are plans for widening Cornerview at that point, having 2 entrance and exits off Cornerview. At some point, given the growth of this parish, I foresee this parish having to widen Cornerview and have a turning lane or a traffic light at that point. Because if we have problems with people getting out of the subdivision on Cornerview, they're going to go to West Main. If you have school buses trying to turn into the subdivision from West Main, we're going to have a problem. We just don't want to run the risk of forcing all of the traffic to West Main, thereby creating more of a hazard of somebody running off into West Main. West Main is substandard, cannot be widened, and very curvy. So I sure would appreciate it very much if you gentlemen will at least consider that. We have no problem with the development. We just think that more thought should be given to the entrance and the exit, the safety, and the future traffic congestion.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Thank you.
Next, Mr. Murray McCullough.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the council. Pardon me. My name is Murray McCullough with Benchmark Group, 11328 Pennywood Avenue in Baton Rouge. We're the engineers for the project for the developers of Legacy Oaks. Just a slight reminder, this is a zoning matter right now. We do have a planning concept plan that will go before the Planning Commission next month, pending approval of our zoning issue here. But just a couple of highlights, and then I'll try to address some of the issues that were brought before you from the previous speakers. This is a planned unit development. It's not an urban development. It's a residential development. It is a mixed-use residential development. The current zoning on the property allows for 3 units to the acre. We are at 2.9 units to the acre, so we're actually under the density. There are green space and open spaces and things that are required in your PUD ordinance that we've matched or even exceeded. to provide those areas within the development, which, lessens the density. So we are below the density allowed for the current zoning. So if I could address some of the issues raised by some of the other speakers. Mr. Daigle mentioned that on our side, and it would come in the plan in the future, on his side, on Cornerview, there are some, the smaller lots, the 60-foot wide lots there. But we also have planned for and have provided a buffer area between the right-of-way of Cornerview and the backs of these lots, where there's going to be some, there's planned to be some berming and some landscaping issues to take place here to try to soften the view from Mr. Daigle's side of the street into our development, so that it's not as obtrusive to him, from the folks that live on that side. So we are in our plan, we are providing a buffer area there. The other individuals mostly spoke of traffic. Our office did have a conversation with Mr. Quinmont about a second entry onto Cornerview Road. Subsequent to that conversation, we had a meeting with the Department of Highways, with DOTD District 61, to ask them what their view was of this. We brought our traffic engineer with us to that particular meeting. We were informed by DOTD that due to their access control requirements that have come down, I almost say recent, but recent may be within the last year or so, they will not allow us to have, they told us in uncertain terms, they will not allow us to have 2 permits to access Cornerview Road. We do show, on our plan that'll come before you guys in the future, we do show stubbing out a road to the property to our west for eventual development there, that should that develop, they can tie onto the street and there would be a second entry. It is our intent on our plan to have our focal point, our main entry be on Cornerview Road, and a secondary entry onto West Main Street, trying to downplay that. So we do not want the main traffic going out that way. We do want them coming out to the better highway.
Thank you, Mr. McCullough. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate it.
Mr. Larry Jordan.
Members of the council, chairman, I'm Larry Jordan. I'm one of the developers. Address 1861 Old Plantation Lane, Baton Rouge. Traffic, we've been mentioned, and we've had what I think a very professional traffic study made on the property, and Murray has covered most of that with you. We've pretty much gone by the book, and things have been approved up to this point, and would certainly like your approval tonight. We're using the zoning on the PUD simply, we started off with an aerial photograph of the golf course. We featured the trees that were left between the fairways and so forth, laid all of our park and green space around preserving all those big trees, and then began to lay out our streets and our lots and so forth. Our density is less than the zoning. It should be a very fine project. I've been building 52 years. I do know about subdivisions. I've put subdivisions in before, and I really believe we've done it the right way. Would like your serious consideration and approval of this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I'll need a motion to accept or deny.
Mr. Chairman, I heard what Mr. Quitmore said, and I heard what Mr. Murray said as far as the allowance of another permit to enter the road. If I'm not mistaken, I think the subdivision right up the road from it has 2 entrances on Cornerview, so I'm not sure why that restriction would be. But I would make the motion to approve the conceptual plan contingent on another entrance to Cornerview via the Green Oaks lane.
And also plugging that
Yeah.
water well.
I second.
And also plugging that water well. Add that to the agenda. Okay.
I have a motion by Mr. Valentine to accept with the stipulation of the second road and also plugging of the water well. I have a second by Mr. Kent Shakespeare. Any discussion?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at the plat, and everybody's concerned about the road along the river. And it's a 30-foot right-of-way from the center line that they're giving up. And having crossed that road a number of times to go retrieve balls that I hit out there, it's not very much of a right-of-way path on the other side of the road. So I would venture to say the total right-of-way is something like 45 feet or something, which is not adequate if we're going to improve that road in the future. Once you allow developments to occur, then it's very hard to come back and get right-of-way from there. And so I would strongly suggest that we would increase, one of the contingencies would be the increase of right-of-way requirements from the center of the lane to 45 feet from 30 feet. And that would allow us to build an adequate road in the future if we expand upon the road there. We don't know when that would come up, but this would allow us ample room without them having building space in between. And so I would like to add that as an amendment to the motion.
I'll second it.
All right, I have an amendment to the original motion by Mr. Shakespeare, second by Mr. Lambert. Any discussion? Mr. Joseph?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask Mr. Ron Ziegler on that DOT, on that second exit. Have you verified that with the state? And
Verified it on this particular project. I can tell you,
could you repeat that again? I'm sorry.
we have not verified it on this particular project because right now this is a conceptual plan. This will actually go, after this step, assuming you approve it, they come back to the planning commission with some more concrete drawings. Right now, this is just a concept, not the real final construction stuff. Most of the stuff we've seen in the last 6 months has only had one entrance. Unless it was a wide enough piece of property, I think it's 1,000 foot or something like that. It's where they draw the line so you can have a second entrance. And that's something pretty new. This is identical. That may very well change in the near future, too. You just don't know.
Thank you, Mr. Ziegler. That's it.
We have a motion by Mr. Shakespeare, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. The amended motion is plug the water well. We have a second entrance and widening of the road. Any more discussion? Opposition? Motion passes.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. You vote on the amendment first, which that was...
Okay.
Okay, the amendment is
All right,
voted on
I'm
first.
sorry. All
Once
right.
that is approved, then we vote on the original motion as amended.
We'll vote on the original motion as amended. All in favor? Any opposition?
Just ask for no opposition.
All right. Motion passes. Mr. Ziegler, number 13, zoning review ID 1835.07.
Councilman, this is a request from LJG Land Company, also known as Ascension Commercial Park, to rezone part of their property from business park to industrial. This particular piece of property has previously been zoned industrial. And the reason for that being, they have a client who would like to put in a fabrication shop, and under our guidelines, that cannot exist in a business park, but can exist in industrial zoning. The commission recommended approval of that.
Second.
Who had the motion? I'm sorry. Motion by Mr. Thompson, second by Mr. Lambert.
Discussion, Mr. Chairman.
Discussion. Mr. Todd Lambert.
Yeah, Mr. Ziegler, at the meeting, do we have any opposition to this?
We do not have any opposition to this at all.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Thank you.
That's all.
That's something.
That's what I wanted.
Okay, Mr. Lower.
Mr. Ziegler, it's also supported by the Economic Development Corporation as well?
That's correct, and the other adjacent landowners will all support also.
Okay, we have a motion to accept or deny. We have a motion.
He moved to accept already.
I already made the motion.
Okay. Any discussion? Any more discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. We'll pass on 14, 15, Orange Grove. Mr. Ziegler?
Gentlemen, Orange Grove Plan Unit Development is here tonight for a revised conceptual plan under our policy and our guidelines in the PUD ordinance. Any substantial change in the original documents requires it go through a reapproval process. In this case, the developer donated some property to the school district, and which required a change in their layout, and it is here tonight for you to accept and deny.
Mr. Chairman, I want to recuse myself from this agenda item.
Okay, Mr. Shakedown will recuse himself. I have a motion.
Motion to accept.
I have a motion to accept by Mr. Lambert.
Second.
Second by Mr. Kluart. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. Thanks, Mr. Ziegler. Introduction of ordinances. On 16, we will pass. 17, introduction of ordinance to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from medium-intensity residential to crossroad commercial. Henry Smith property, Tract 2, 7.15 acres, and a 5-acre tract for Gary L. and Brenda G. Lewis, located on the north side of Oris Roth Road, approximately 165 foot west of Ernest Bell Road. Zoning Commission recommends approval.
Motion to introduce the ordinance.
All right. Motion by Mr. Joseph, second by Mr. Lambert. Discussion? Opposition? Ordinance carries. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Next Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to advertise this public hearing.
Yes.
There's no way we can't advertise it.
So we're going to have to
We have to
put this off for 2 meetings, or 3 meetings, yeah,
First meeting in February.
yes. Yeah. All right, well, we need a motion for that.
I'm putting it on.
All right. Mr. Lambert makes the motion to put it on the February 7th meeting. Second by Mr. Valentine. Discussion? Opposition? Motion carries. 18, introduction of ordinance to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from business park to industrial. Maurice Indes and Dana Buford property, Lot 6 and the northwest quarter of the southwest quarter tract for Gator Environmental Waste Solutions, LLC, for property located on the east side of Louisiana Highway 70, approximately 4,200 feet south of Raymond Touye Road. The Zoning Commission has recommended approval.
Motion to introduce the
Have a motion by Mr. Joseph to introduce the ordinance.
Second.
Second by
Also, Mr. Chairman, you need to put that probably on the February 7th
February.
meeting also.
Okay, thank you, sir. Second by Mr. Lambert. Have any discussion? Any opposition? Motion carries. This will be on our February 7th docket also. Our next portion is public hearings. Number 19. Like a motion to open the public hearing?
motion to open the public hearing.
Mr. Joseph?
Point.
I'm sorry.
Point of order.
All right, Mr. Ricky Babin.
Thank you, and to answer the often asked questions, yes, I apologize, but our charter does require us to read them, so I have to read each one of them before you can act under the public hearing. The first one is to amend the Ascension Parish Development Code land use map by rezoning a certain parcel of land from Conservation C to PUD Concept PC. Whereas the Parish of Ascension has in effect a comprehensive plan of zoning, and pursuant to that plan, a parish-wide development code is adopted by the Ascension Parish Governing Authority, which became effective June 1st, 1999. Whereas the Ascension Parish Development Code and the Ascension Parish Plan Unit Development Ordinance provides for a procedure for the amendment to allow the rezoning of property for the development of a planned unit development. Whereas and herein below described property is located as such that rezoning the property is in conformity with the requirements for the Planned Unit Development Ordinance, in conformity with the general land use plan of the parish, and fully meets the qualifications for the planned unit development set forth under Ascension Parish and Louisiana law. Be it ordained that the following described property is rezoned from Conservation C to PUD Concept PC. The legal description is attached hereto, made a part hereof as Exhibit A, entitled Legal Description of the Property Contained within the Orange Grove Community Development District, described as lots 5A1, A2, and 5A3, together containing 134.724 acres. Be it further ordained that the land use map of the Ascension Parish Development Code be amended to reflect these rezonings, and the Office of Planning and Zoning be authorized to make such changes.
I'd like to have a motion to open
the public hearing.
Mr. Todd Lambert makes the motion.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cullen. Anyone wishing to speak?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing, Mr. Joseph.
Second.
Second by Mr. Dempsey Lambert. Ordinance amending the Ascension Parish Development Code and Ascension Parish zoning map by rezoning a certain parcel of land to Orange Grove PUD. We have Ms. Katie LaRose to speak on this ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I apologize in advance. I think I wrote my name under the wrong item, and I should have been up here during the public hearing period, but please indulge me for a brief moment. What the ordinance that you have before you is something that this council has already passed for the Orange Grove planned unit development. I assure you that nothing has changed, and we are merely here to adjust for some technical mistakes that happened the last go-round. So if you would please pass this ordinance as y'all had done before. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Motion to move the ordinance, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Todd Lambert.
Second.
Second by Mr. Chris Lohr. Any discussion? Any opposition? Ordinance passes. Number 21, public hearing to consider an ordinance amending the Ascension Parish zoning map by rezoning a certain parcel of land from mixed use and medium intensity residential to small planned unit development, SPUD, Town Park Center for Track Y-1 located in Section 26, T8S-R2E on the southerly side of Swamp Road, approximately 1,500 feet southwest of Airline Highway for Swamp Road Partners, LLC, by Alvin Fairburn and Associates. Mr. Babin.
The ordinance reads to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map by rezoning a certain parcel of land from mixed-use MU and medium-intensity residential, RM, to small planned unit development, SPUD. Whereas the Parish of Ascension has in effect a comprehensive plan of zoning, and pursuant to that plan, a parish-wide development code was adopted by the Ascension Parish Governing Authority, which became effective on June 1st, 1999. Whereas the Ascension Parish Development Code provides for a procedure for its amendment to allow the rezoning of property to a different classification. Whereas the herein below described property is located as such that rezoning of the property is in conformity with the adjacent land uses, in conformity with the general land use plan of the parish, non-injurious to adjacent properties, and fully meets the qualifications of rezoning set forth under Louisiana law. Be it ordained that the following described property be rezoned from mixed-use MU and medium-intensity residential RM to small planned unit development, SPUD, Track Y1, located in Section 26, Township 8 South, Range 2 East, a certain 5.19 acre tract being tract Y1, located in Section 26, Township 8 South, Range 2 East, Greensburg Land District, Ascension Parish, Louisiana, and be more fully described as follows. Starting at the intersection of the western right-of-way of Airline Highway with the southern right-of-way of Swamp Road, proceed south 64 degrees, 13 minutes, 13 seconds west, a distance of 521.45 feet to a point of beginning. Then south 28 degrees, 8 minutes, 12 seconds east, distance of 518.12 feet. Then south 77 degrees, 14 minutes, 11 seconds west, a distance of 536.13. Thence north 21 degrees, 29 minutes, 41 seconds west, a distance of 258.31 feet. Thence north 21 degrees, 31 minutes, 45 seconds west, a distance of 139.18 feet. Thence north 64 degrees, 9 minutes, 13 seconds east, a distance of 471.46 feet to the point of beginning. Be it further ordained that the land use map of Ascension Parish Development Code be amended to reflect these rezonings, and that the Office of Planning and Zoning be authorized to make such changes.
Motion to open the public hearing, Mr. Chairman.
Second. Motion by Mr. Lambert to open public hearing. Second. Second by Mr. Cluart. No one wishing to speak on this
Motion to
item.
close the public hearing. Second.
Motion by Mr. Joseph, second by Mr. Lambert. We have an ordinance to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map by rezoning a certain parcel of land from mixed use and a medium-intensity residential to small planned unit development Town Park Center for Tract Y1 located in Section 26 T8S-R2E on the southerly side of Swamp Road, approximately 1,500 foot southwest of Airline Highway for Swamp Road Partners, LLC, by Alvin Fairburn and Associates.
Motion to approve the ordinance.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Joseph to approve the ordinance, second by Mr. Dempsey Lambert. Any discussion? Opposition? Ordinance passes. Public hearing to consider an ordinance amending the Ascension Parish zoning map by rezoning a certain parcel of land from conservation to traditional neighborhood development. Riverton Plantation. Have a motion to, we have Miss Katie LaRose to speak on this matter.
Move.
Okay. I need a motion to open public hearing.
Move to open public hearing.
Open public hearing by Mr. Kent Shakespeare.
Second.
Second by Mr. Thompson.
Mr. Chairman, point of order, you got to let Mr. Babbitt read it first.
You ready?
That's okay. It'll start rolling. I said, that's okay. It'll start rolling for you. To amend the Ascension Parish zoning map by rezoning a certain parcel of land from Conservation C to Traditional Neighborhood Development, TND concept. Whereas the Parish of Ascension has in effect a comprehensive plan of zoning, and pursuant to that plan, a parish-wide development code was adopted by the Ascension Parish Governing Authority, which became effective on June 1st, 1999. Whereas the Parish of Ascension Development Code provides for procedure for its amendment to allow the rezoning of property to affect different classifications, wherein the herein below described property is located as such that rezoning the property is in conformity with the adjacent land uses, conformity with the general land use plan for the parish, not injurious to adjacent properties, and fully meets the qualifications of rezoning set forth under Louisiana law. Be it ordained that the following described property be rezoned from Conservation C to Traditional Neighborhood Development. The legal description of Riverton Plantation is attached to Tier 2, being a portion of Lot 2, 407.3 acres, and portion of the partition of Lot 2, 12.3 acres, of the Charles A. Martin, Ernest L. Martin property. The two tracts of land designated as portion of partition Lot 2, 407.3 acres, and partition Lot 6, 12.3 acres on the map entitled Map Showing Survey of Lot 2 and Lot 6, partitions of the Charles A. Martin, Ernest L. Martin property located in Section 6, Township 10 South, Range 3 East, Southeastern District, Ascension Parish, Louisiana, prepared by Ferris Engineering and Surveying, LLC, Christopher Ewing, professional engineer, professional land surveyor, dated March 7, 2007. And lots 2, 12.3 acres, and portion of Lot 2, 4.3 acres, are set forth in the attached description. Be it further ordained that the land use map and the Ascension Parish Development Code be amended to reflect these rezoning, and the Parish Office of Planning and Development be authorized to make such changes.
Motion to open public hearing.
Motion to open public hearing by Mr. Oliver Joseph,
Second.
second by Mr. Todd Lambert.
Motion to close public hearing.
Motion to close by Mr. Joseph,
Second.
second by Mr. Lohr. Ordinance amending the Ascension Parish zoning map by rezoning a certain parcel of land from conservation to traditional neighborhood development, Riverton Plantation.
Move the ordinance.
Mr. Shakespeare
Second.
makes a motion for the ordinance, second by Mr. Joseph. Any discussion? Any opposition? Ordinance passes. Public hearing to consider an ordinance creating the Riverton Plantation Community Development District. I'm sorry, Ms. LaRose, you wanted to speak on this?
No, sir. I'm just here for my clients and there was a question whether they need to do something.
Public hearing to consider an ordinance creating the Riverton Plantation Community Development District within the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana.
An ordinance creating the Riverton Plantation Community Development District within the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, and further describing the boundaries thereof, and further appointing a Board of Supervisors consisting of 5 members to govern and manage said Community Development District, and providing for certain other related matters, all in compliance with the provisions of Chapter 27B, Title 33 of the Louisiana Revised Statutes of 1950, as amended, Louisiana Revised Statute 33:9039.11 to 33:9039.37 inclusive, whereas in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 27B of Title 33 of Louisiana Revised Statute of 1950 as amended, specifically RS 33:9039.11 through 9039.37 inclusive, the Act. The Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, the parish is authorized and empowered to establish and create community development districts within the incorporated boundaries of the parish. And whereas pursuant to the requirements of Section 9039.14 of the Act, Riverton Plantation, LLC, a limited liability company organized and existing under the laws of the State of Louisiana, the petitioner has submitted a petition to this parish council containing the information required for said statute and requesting that this parish council hold a public hearing required by Section 9039.14 of the Act to consider the creation and establishment of the Riverton Plantation Community Development District, and 2, adopt an ordinance as required by the aforesaid statute creating and establishing the aforesaid district. Whereas in accordance with the requirements of Section 9039.14 of the Act, Ascension Parish Council issued and published a notice of public hearing in the Gonzales Weekly Citizen, a newspaper of general circulation in the official journal of the Parish Council, which was published on December 21st, 07, December 28th, 07, January 4th, 08, and January 8th, 2008, to notify the citizens and property owners of the parish to petition and establish a district, a complete copy of which is attached hereto and made a part hereof as Exhibit A. Whereas pursuant to the notice and compliance with the requirements of the Act, the public hearing to consider the creation and establishment of the district was duly convened and held by the Parish Council on Thursday, January 10th, 2007, at which time the information concerning the proposed district, together with comments, questions, or objections related thereto, were presented and considered by the Parish Council, all in accordance with the requirements of Section 9039.14B of the Act, and whereas based on the information contained in the petition, as well as the record of the public hearing and such other factors which are deemed relevant, this Parish Council hereby finds and determines that the requirements of the Act have been satisfied, and the petition requesting creating and establishment of the district is hereby approved and authorized. Now therefore be it ordained by the Ascension Parish Council, acting as the governing authority for the parish, as follows. Section 1, creation of the district boundaries. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, there is hereby created and established a community development district within the parish, which district shall comprise and include all the property situated in the described boundaries as shown in Exhibit B, attached hereto and made a part hereof. The aforesaid community development district shall be known as the Riverton Plantation Community Development District, Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, and is thus created and established. Said district shall constitute a special district as provided in Article 6, Section 19 of the Constitution of the State of Louisiana of 1974 as amended, and shall have all powers granted by the Constitution, the Act, and all other laws of the State of Louisiana. Board of Supervisors, General Provisions. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, particularly Section 9039.15, the district shall be governed and managed by a Board of Supervisors, the Supervisory Board, consisting of 5 members. The following persons are hereby appointed as the initial members of the Supervisory Board: Paul Branco, Nick Bernhardt, Robert Box, Amy Burley, and Barry Bernhardt. Each individual member of the Supervisory Board shall serve a term of 4 years and until a successor is chosen and qualifies. Each of the initial members of the Board is a resident of the State of Louisiana, and one member, Amy Burley, is a resident of the area immediately adjacent to the district. Prior to the end of the 6th year following the appointment of the initial members of the Supervisory Board, any reappointments to the Supervisory Board shall be made by the petitioner subject to the approval of the Parish Council or in any such manner as may be provided by the Act, as herein from time to time is amended. Election of Supervisory Board members. Commencing at the end of the 6th year following the appointment of the initial members of the Supervisory Board, the position of each member of the Supervisory Board whose term has expired shall be filled by a qualified elector residing in the district, who shall be elected by the qualified electors of the district in accordance with the provisions of Title 18, Louisiana Revised Statutes of 1950, as amended. The registered office for the district shall be 17058 Fontainebleau Drive, Purreville, Louisiana, 70769, which is located within the parish and within the territorial boundaries of the district are located. The copy of this ordinance shall be published in the Gonzales Weekly Citizen, the official journal of the parish, as provided by law.
Motion to open public hearing.
Motion by Mr. Joseph. Second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Public hearing is open.
Motion to close public hearing.
Motion to close by Mr. Oliver Joseph.
Second.
Second by Mr. Dennis Cullen. Ordinance to create the Riverton Plantation Community Development District within the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana.
Move the ordinance, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Todd Lambert moves the ordinance.
Second.
Second by Mr. Oliver Joseph. Any discussion? Opposition? Ordinance passes. Public hearing to consider the amendment of the Ascension Parish Development Code, Section 17-370D.
To amend and supplement the Ascension Parish Development Code, Section 17370, entitled Public Notice Requirements, to add subsection D to provide as follows. Whereas the Parish of Ascension has in effect a comprehensive plan of zoning, and pursuant to that plan, the Parish-wide Development Code was adopted by the Ascension Parish Governing Authority, which became effective on June 1st, 1999. The Ascension Parish Development Code provides for a procedure by its amendment of the Development Code and related regulations and restrictions by initiation of the Planning and Zoning Commission. The Planning and Zoning Commission is initiated by an amendment of supplement Section 17370, Public Notice Requirements, of the Ascension Parish Development Code regarding public notice requirements. Be it ordained that Section 17370, Public Notice Requirements of the Ascension Parish Development Code, is supplemented and amended to add subsection D to provide as follows. If the governing authority thereafter proceeds to have an ordinance presented to amend the zoning of the property, which includes proposal of a PUD, SPUD, or TND, the public hearing shall be held by said governing authority, at which time parties of interest shall have the opportunity to be heard. Notice of the time and place of that hearing shall be published once a week, 3 different weeks, in the official journal of the parish. At least 15 days shall elapse between the first publication and the date of the hearing. In addition to notice of publication, at least 10 days prior to the hearing, a good faith attempt to notify the owner or owners of record of the properties to be zoned or rezoned shall be made by sending an official notice by certified mail of the time and place of the hearing and subject matter of the regulations and restrictions. Notwithstanding the foregoing, when more than 10 parcels to be zoned or rezoned by enactment of a zoning ordinance, the advertisement in the official journal required herein shall be considered adequate notice to the property owners. Just to give you a 2-minute brief of this, gentlemen, our ordinance before had a 2-time publication requirement. There was a state statute that, our opinion, we could have used our own publication requirements. That's how it was done. It was originally drafted. There's been some court cases of late which has called that into question, and there's a disagreement between various attorneys you talk to. So what we're doing, just for a belt and suspenders approach, we're going to extend our publication requirements to 3 public notices instead of 2. and that would meet the longest required under any set of statutes, constitutional provisions, or local charter. So we're just doing this as a safety matter, which legal had recommended to planning and zoning and to you. So just to let you know, it's really nothing different from our procedures. Just with the development of the law in this area, we thought it cautious for us to extend that. A little background about why we're doing this.
Motion to open public hearing.
Motion by Mr. Jones to open.
Second.
Second by Mr. Benny Johnson. Public hearing is open.
Motion to close public hearing.
Motion closed by Mr. Joseph.
Second.
Second by Mr. Benny Johnson. Any discussion? Opposition? Ordinance amending the Ascension Parish Development Code, Section 17-370.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Thompson, second by Mr. Lambert. Discussion? Opposition? Ordinance passes. Public hearing to consider the amendment of the Ascension Parish Development Code, Section 17-370, newspaper publication.
Same explanation. This publication is in our ordinance several times, so we have to amend each ordinance that handles that particular issue. So there's several amendments that say the same thing and do the same thing. This particular one reads as follows. Whereas the Parish of Ascension has an effective comprehensive plan of zoning, and pursuant to that plan, a parish-wide development code was adopted by the Ascension Parish Governing Authority, which became effective on June 1st, 1999. Whereas the Ascension Parish Development Code provides for a procedure for its amendment and the Development Code and related regulations and restrictions by initiation by the Parish Planning and Zoning Commission. The Parish Planning and Zoning Commission was initiated the amendment of Section 17370A newspaper publication of the Ascension Parish Development Code regarding newspaper publication. Now therefore be it resolved that Section 17370A newspaper publication of the Ascension Parish Development Code is amended to newspaper publication at least 10 days in advance of the hearing. The zoning official shall provide notice and time and place of the hearing and shall be published at least 3 times in the official journal, and at least 10 days shall elapse between the first publication and the date of hearing.
Motion to open public hearing.
Motion by Mr. Oliver Joseph.
Second.
Second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Public hearing is open.
Motion to close public hearing.
Motion closed by Mr. Joseph.
Second.
Second by Mr. Dempsey Lambert. Ordinance amending the...
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Todd Lambert, seconded by Mr. Randy Clouard. Any discussion? Opposition? Ordinance passes. Public hearing to consider the amendment of Ascension Parish Subdivision Ordinances, Section 31-107, street signs and traffic control devices.
The ordinance reads to amend the Ascension Parish Subdivision Regulations, Section 31.107. Whereas the Parish of Ascension has in effect a comprehensive plan of zoning, and pursuant to that plan, a parish-wide development code was adopted by the Ascension Parish Governing Authority, which became effective on June 1st, 1999. Whereas the Ascension Parish Development Code provides for a procedure for the amendment of the Development Code and related regulations and restrictions by the initiation of the Parish Planning and Zoning Commission. The Parish Planning and Zoning Commission has initiated an amendment of Section 31-107 of the Ascension Parish Subdivision Regulations regarding electronic submissions. Therefore, it be ordained that Section 31-107 of the Ascension Parish Subdivision Regulations is amended to read as follows. Street sign and traffic control devices must be furnished and installed by the subdivider according to state law and the recommendations of the Parish Governing Authority and Planning Commission. Public street signs shall be 9-inch .080 aluminum double-faced green engineered grade blank with 6-inch upper lowercase white engineered grade letters and a 1/2-inch white border. Street signs for private lanes shall comply with the above ordinance. However, street signs for private streets may not be engineered green. It must be duly approved by the Department of Public Works.
Motion to open public hearing.
Motion to open public hearing, Mr. Todd Lambert.
Second.
Second by Mr. Oliver Joseph. Public hearing is open.
Motion to close public
Motion
hearing.
to close, Mr. Oliver Joseph.
Second.
Second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Ordinance to amend the Ascension Parish Subdivision Ordinance, Section 31-107. Motion by Mr. Who was that? Mr. Thompson.
Second.
Second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Any discussion?
Discussion, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Could I ask Mr. Bob Turner, I have a question, if he could approach the podium? Mr. Turner, just a quick question. I'm sure we all support enhanced, enlarged, more readable signs and decisions. We appreciate that as well. So my question is, this ordinance is addressing subdivision standards going forward. Are there any plans in place, or have there been any cost estimates done or timeframes on what it would take to extend this to the rest of the parish on other major roads?
Mr. Chairman, Councilman Lohr, yes. Actually, what we've been doing recently is to go ahead and install larger, more readable, more highly reflective street signs as they've been damaged and replaced. What this does is bring subdivision regulations into compatibility with what we're already doing. In addition to that, earlier this evening, you passed an ordinance regarding street signs, which was a grant that allows us to install more highly reflective stop signs, curve signs, and caution signs, the markers, what's called type 1 markers beside culverts. So we're really making an effort to increase the visibility of our signs. And as people get older like me, a little bit larger sign helps, and especially at night. And these signs, I think you'll be real pleased with them. But they're going to be parish-wide, and this particular item addresses subdivisions, but we're currently working on all areas in the parish.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bob. I have a motion by Mr. Benny Johnson for the ordinance. Second by Mr. Ken Shea-Snyder.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Discussion. Mr. Bob, before you leave. This says street signs and traffic control devices. That includes signals, traffic signals?
Really not signals. This is primarily related to signage.
Okay.
There's a number of different types of signs, and traffic control devices kind of covers that whole gamut.
Well, that's what I want. Thank you.
Mr. Schickner, it also prevents somebody from putting wooden signs with golfers on it or other things that may be good for their development but doesn't comply with engineering standards for a sign. So it addresses that public safety issue that they're required in subdivisions. That's one of the issues that constantly come up. They want to use their own maybe more attractive sign, but not as safe sign.
Got a motion by Mr. Johnson, second by Mr. Shea-Snyder. Any discussion? Opposition? Ordinance passes. Public hearing to consider amending the 2007 budget, Fire District Number 1.
Be it ordained by the Ascension Parish Council for the State of Louisiana, the following amendments to the 2007 budget is hereby approved and appropriated. Fire District Number 1 Construction Fund expenditures to increase contract payments by $500,000. This increase will be funded by surplus remaining in the fund balance at year end. Ms. Gwynn, I believe, advised me this is not an increase in the contract amount, it's only a budget change.
Motion to open public hearing, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion to open by Mr. Todd Lambert, second by Mr. Oliver Joseph.
Motion to close.
Motion closed by Mr. Todd Lambert.
Second.
Second by Mr. Oliver Joseph. Ordinance 2007. Motion by Mr. Thompson, second by Mr. Benny Johnson. Any discussion?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Shea-Snyder.
What is the money to be spent on?
There's Ms. Gwynn. Ms. Gwynn?
I mean, there's no information whatsoever.
Mr. Shea-Snyder, this is it's really a technicality. What happened, they took all the, requested that we move the construction payments to the 2008 budget because they did not think they would start construction before year end. But as it turned out, everything worked out that the construction, in fact, did start. And in order to comply with the Local Budget Act and our charter, that we won't exceed 5% of expenditures in any one fund, we went ahead and did a budget amendment to get that back in compliance.
All right, so they're going to take that monies and go toward the construction fund that was already done.
It's already in the construction fund, but they didn't think construction would start
understand.
before the end of 2007, but it did.
That's fine, thank you.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Got to vote on this.
Have a motion by Mr. Todd Lambert, second by Mr. Shea Snyder. Any discussion? Opposition? Ordinance passes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
if I could interject. One question, Ms. Suzanne. The minutes that you have in here, were they supposed to be on the consent agenda? We just didn't. Are these minutes ready to approve? From December the 6th, they were in our packet. Okay. The other thing is, Mr. Chairman, we do need to set our meeting days, and typically that is done on the first meeting. So I'd like to put that on the agenda as a 2/3 to establish our meeting dates for the year.
I second that.
Okay, have a motion by Mr. Valentine to establish our meeting dates. Second by Mr. Todd Lambert.
And that is to add it to the agenda so we can discuss it.
Okay. Any discussion? Opposition? Be on the agenda.
Okay. Okay, we'll go ahead and take it up now. Mr. Babin has reminded me we need to do this, so I would move that we meet on the 1st and 3rd. Our official meetings will be on the 1st and 3rd Thursdays of each month.
I second that.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Valentine, we meet on the 1st and 3rd Thursday of each month. Second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Any opposition? Motion carries. Same time, 7 o'clock.
Do we have to stipulate the time? Okay.
What you actually vote on, see?
Okay.
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 Can you resume?
Did we finalize it yet?
No.
We still got the motion on the table? Let me correct my motion. We meet, I guess we need to discuss it. We'll make the motion, Mr. Thompson will discuss the time.
Motion by Mr. Valentine.
We'll meet on the 1st and 3rd days, Thursdays of each month. First to be in the city of Donaldsonville, the seat. The third Thursday to be in Gonzales. Meeting time to be at 7 o'clock. And that would be the motion. We would need to get a second, and then we'll discuss it.
Discussion. Second.
We have a motion for our meetings to be on the 1st and 3rd Thursday of each month. The first Thursday being in Donaldsonville, the third Thursday being in Gonzales. Our meeting time will be at 7 o'clock.
The discussion would be, Mr. Chairman, would there be enough interest to move the 7 o'clock, which has been traditional, to 6 o'clock? Anybody interested in that? Except for Mr. Thompson.
We have
Then
a
the motion
motion
stands
by
as it
Mr.
is.
Valentine. Do we have a second on our meetings? Then we'll open for discussion. Second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Any discussion?
Okay, y'all got to come back to me on that. Can you repeat that motion? You want to change the time?
No, we just discussed it,
No, we
and
just discussed
we
it.
didn't get a consensus, so the motion is at 7 o'clock.
Okay. Any opposition? Motion carries.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Mr. Valentine moved to adjourn. Second by Mr. Todd Lambert.